Good morning, friends. I am back to talk to you a little bit about happiness. It's actually this inspired my theme. My topic for today is pursuit of happiness doomed. Is inspired by the study that Harvard recently published about happiness, and they basically say this focus on pursuing happiness by itself usually causes people to be more depressed. And the whole idea is to shift your view of happiness and kind of, so what they're saying is we should be pursuing wholeness rather than happiness. And the wholeness is described by this acronym SPIRE, SPIRE, which is spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and emotional areas, right? So if you are pursuing this wholesome approach to feel whole, to feel connected on 5 different levels, this, they say, seems to define happy people versus the pursuit of happiness as such. And it's interesting because I looked up some other ideas. I read this quote of true happiness depends on spiritual good and having the heart ever open to receive divine bounty. But then what does it really mean? Like, like what's the spiritual good? And then today I came across this really cool quote that explained so much. And I actually wanted to share a part of it with you. It's kind of long, so I'm not gonna share the whole thing. But this because our idea of happiness, I think, in the Western world, in the developed countries, or even in the third world countries, is very materialistic. We think if we have more, if we own more, if we have better choices, better options, that somehow we will be happier. And that's the definition of happiness that most people pursue. And it's interesting because I work in the field of finance, in the field of wealth accumulation and creation. And the more successful I think I become, the more I realize that that's really not what defines the happiness. It's the person you become in the process. It's the choices you make every day, not necessarily the income that follows. The income tends to follow when you are detached from it and you really focus on the right choices. And so this quote that really kind of was new to me, I never saw it before. It said, if a man were to care for himself only, he would be nothing but an animal, for only the animals are thus egoistic. If you bring 1,000 sheep to a well to kill 999, the one remaining sheep would go on grazing, not thinking of the others and worrying not at all about the lost, never bothering that its own kind had passed away or had perished or been killed. To look after oneself only is therefore an animal propensity. It is the animal propensity to live solitary and alone, and it is the animal proclivity to look after one's own comfort. But man was created to be a man, to be fair, to be just, to be merciful, to be kind to all his species, never to be willing that he himself be well off while others are in misery and distress. This is an attribute of the animal and not of man. And it talks about that the true nature of man is to make sure that we look out for the comforts of others at the cost of the comforts of ourselves. So we are willing to sacrifice our time, our energy, our resources in order to serve and help someone else. Actually, this quote is from a letter to one of the rulers of the world that Baha'u'llah, the prophet messenger of the Baha'i faith, had written. And it was really talking about those in power, of those more successful in the world, that you cannot be happy if people around you aren't. right? That's not true happiness. That's an animal type of happiness. And I think there is a real key in this quote, because it basically says that if we are focused on serving others, that's a true spiritual happiness. That's a true joy. And if you think about pretty much any time you've done anything for anybody at all, it makes you feel good, because that's human nature. Human nature is to be of service to others. And so sometimes we've accomplished something, we're really well off, but if we don't have that focus on others, if we are not in the leadership, if we are not training and giving and sharing our time with others, if we're not trying to help other people succeed, if we are not giving in any other way, sometimes people are giving financially through their church or through their other religious communities, or for charities, or sometimes they give time, sometimes through their work they're focused on helping others. And if we have that aspect in our life, when we are on a daily basis doing something for someone else, that's the true definition of spiritual happiness or true happiness, but it's also a path to prosperity. And that's actually another quote that I'm gonna finish with it. I just have a short point here, but it says here, we must be like the fountain or spring that is continually emptying itself of all that it has and is continually being refilled from an invisible source, to be continually giving out for the good of our fellows, undeterred by fear of poverty and reliant on the unfailing bounty of the source of all wealth and all good. This is the secret of right living. And so I think about these things a lot. It's just sort of the way I am. I'm constantly thinking how, what are the secrets of life? What's our true meaning? What's our true purpose? I feel like I'm generally very happy. I'm very grateful for everything we acquire. I'm also with people every single day, whether professionally with clients or in service activities. I have a Coffee with Humans group that we just come together to touch base and be a support system for each other that I host once a week. There is just every day, if you focus on dedicating your time for the benefit of greater good, for the benefit of your community or the world, or whatever it is that your heart get engaged in or get really passionate about, then the happiness comes, it follows. And so that's prosperity. The prosperity follows those who are willing to spend their time and resources for others, right? So just a quick thought for this morning. I hope you guys are having a great day, because it's a great day to have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.